There's going to be a ton of different changes in Cataclysm Classic, and also a lot of nice new features that we should be looking forward to. All the way up to Wrath of the Lich King, it hasn't really mattered what kind of gear you were using, so as a warrior you could be using leather and mail gear together with plate items. Now, if you only equip plate items, your attributes, or well, primary attribute, will be increased by 5%. This is the same case as a leather and a mail user. Training your profession skills and leveling up these is going to be a lot easier. Instead of having to go to Outland or Northrend to find a specific trainer, then you just have to go to a main city where you can train all the way up to max level. Talking about professions, then as a herbalist you can now get a life-giving seed that will turn you into an herb. Yeah, an illusion you can use to probably prevent other people from seeing you, so you can also avoid getting killed on a PvP server. Because of all the new class combinations, you can play as a troll druid. If so, then your flight form will look a bit different. Instead of having the traditional one, you will instead be flying around as a bat. And talking about the new class combinations, if these are marked with a cataclysm, it simply indicates that this will be the new possibilities. Many zones will also be re-ramped in between 1 to 60, so they will look a lot different. The leveling range will also change, and also some of the quests will be completely new. Leveling up also seems to be faster, as you can pull many enemies at the same time, and on top of this you will also be gaining a lot of experience from the quests. And with all the new quests that has been implemented into the game, then staying in a zone can also be done for a lot longer, and you don't have to constantly swap zones to continue your leveling journey. Talking about leveling up, then in dungeons you can now also get all the different dungeon quests without having to go to the open world to pick these up. So this is yet another thing that will save you a lot of time. A new riding skill, Master Riding, can also be learned. This will increase your flying speed all the way up to 310% no matter what flying mount you're using. The price is going to be in between 4,500 gold and all the way up to 5,000 gold depending on your reputation with your faction. Arena points will be replaced with conquest points. You obtain these by doing arenas, your daily PvP quest, or the raided battleground, which is a new feature in Cataclysm. When you win a raided battleground, your rating is increased, and the higher amount of rating, the higher rewards. For example, the possibility to unlock the Grand Marshal and High Warlord Transmog gear, or even a title. Honor is also going to change a bit. Instead of having a cap of 75,000, it's now going to be 4,000. And instead of using Winter Grasp as your way to get a lot of honor, you'll be doing another World PvP event, Told Barat. To win this battle, you will either need to control all 3 bases or prevent the other team from doing so. 2 new BGs will also be implemented into the game, the Battle of Gilneas and Twin Peaks. Both of these will be 10 versus 10. The 2 major cities, Orgrimmar and Stormwind, will change, and when you enter these cities, there's going to be a new feature, at least when you're level 80 and above. You will now automatically be able to pick up a quest that will tell you where you need to head next to continue your leveling journey. This feature is in fact in the game prior to being level 80 as well, when you're killing something in the open world, and if this is a part of a quest, then it will also tell you that you can now pick up this quest instantly instead of having to go to the quest giver. 2 new races can also be played, Worgen and Goblin. As a Worgen, there's a change compared to original Cataclysm. You'll no longer change the appearance of your skin color of your human form and your Worgen form at the same time. No, you can change these individually. In Wrath of the Lich King, Resilience reduces your chance of being crit, reduce the amount of mana drained, and also damage taken. In Cataclysm, it's going to be a lot more simple. Now it will only reduce the amount of damage you take. Many things has changed when it comes to CCing a target. In PvE, you could for example CC a target without getting into combat, and all nearby enemies won't be pulled when you do this. This change also has a massive impact on PvP, because now you can for example trap or polymorph a target and immediately start eating or drinking. On top of this, they have also added maps to each individual dungeon, so now you can see where you need to go to for example kill a specific boss or do a specific quest. Yet another cool feature is the new marking system. No, we're not talking about the traditional marks on top of a target, it's marks you can place on the ground. These you can use to indicate where you would like your healers, tanks or DPS to be placed, or where you would like a specific boss to be tanked. So explaining different strategies, movements and other things is going to be so much easier with these marks. In Cataclysm, you can now use the new tool, Dungeon Journal. The Dungeon Journal will display all the new raid but also dungeon bosses in Cataclysm. You can see the mechanics you need to be aware of, but also what loot you can gain on normal and heroic mode. So make sure to check out this tool every time you're going to attempt a new dungeon or raid, or if you're looking for specific items that will improve your character's performance. The glyph tree has also seen some changes. Now you just need to learn a glyph once and you will have it on your character forever. There's going to be 3 prime, 3 major and 3 minor glyphs you can use at the same time. But this is definitely a big change, as it allows you to customize your character a lot easier. You don't have to go to the auction house all the time to get the same glyphs you might have used before. Blizzard has mentioned that the leveling experience between level 1 to 80 will be a lot smoother, so I guess leveling up quicker. One thing that will help you a lot if you're leveling with another player is that both of you will now be able to loot the same quest item, so you don't have to kill many creatures to obtain these. No, you will just have to kill the same amount as if you were doing these solo. Killing rare enemies will now be worth it, not just for rare or green items, no, they also reward you a ton of experience, pretty much the same as a couple of quests. Whenever you gain a new level on your character, you will also get a notification. This notification will let you know if there's a new spell you can train. You can also go to your spell book and see at what level you can unlock new spells. And the good thing is, whenever you have unlocked a spell and trained this, then you don't need to go back to your trainer to unlock a new rank. Because in Cataclysm there is only 1 rank of each spell, and every time you level up it's going to be increased in damage, healing and whatsoever. So overall, leveling will be quicker, and it will also be a lot cheaper because you don't have to spend as much gold training many different spells. Because there's so many new quests, then what I've done is to add an additional window, so when you're about to pick up a quest, then you can also see what target you need to slay. And in case you're wondering where you need to go next, then you can always just head to a main city and look for Hero's Call board. Here there will be a pre-quest, or well, a quest telling you to go to a new location and where you need to head first. And to increase your leveling speed even further, then they've also implemented even more flight paths. So in each individual zone, you can definitely expect 2, 3 or maybe even more flight paths. In Wrath of the Lich King, they introduced elite weapons you could unlock at a certain rating. This will also be the same case in Cataclysm, but now also with armor pieces, and these armor pieces will only be obtainable during the season, so the season after you can no longer obtain these, unless they of course decide to do a change that we don't know about yet. All professions can now be leveled up to 525, and the profession Herbalism has seen a minor change, or well, the lifeblood ability you get by leveling up this profession. Now it not only just heals you, it also grants you haste for 20 seconds. And depending on your skill in Herbalism, then the haste will also be improved. Talking about professions, then a new profession, Archaeology, will also be introduced. This is a secondary profession, so you can learn this no matter what. Archaeology is where you have to travel around in Azeroth and find different objects. So basically what you have to do is to go to marked areas on your map, use your survey ability and dig for different objects. Sometimes you will be far away and this will be indicated with a red light, yellow then you're getting closer, and green then you're pretty close to the object you're digging for. So what is it that's good about Archaeology? Well, you can get different items, mounts, yeah, even bind or account epic items. So these you can send in between different characters and you don't need Archaeology to use them. And remember, it's a secondary profession, just like fishing, cooking and first aid. So you can learn this no matter what main professions you have. Being in a guild is going to be so important, because in Cataclysm you can level up your guild in between level 1 and all the way up to 25. And every time you gain a new level, your guild will also get a new perk. Some of these perks are quite insane. You will for example be able to gain even more experience, summon your party group to your location, rest all nearby players at the same time, and many other cool things. Leveling up weapon skills usually takes a lot of time, but don't worry, in Cataclysm, yeah, you still have the different weapon skills, you just don't need to level them up any longer. So when you find a new weapon, go train it, and yeah, you can use it right away and still deal a high amount of damage. Hunters will now also start with a pet at level 1, so you no longer have to get to level 10, complete your hunter specific quest and then tame a pet. No, this you will use right at the start as you create your character. A big improvement compared to Wrath of the Lich King is that we get a lot more spells that will help our party members. Whether you're doing PvP or PvE, these will be useful. For example, Leap of Faith. Yeah, it could also be Stampeding Roar as a druid that will increase all party members' movement speed by 60% for 8 seconds. Being a class with a pet is also going to be a bit easier, at least when it comes to controlling it. You can now guide the pet to the direct location instead of having to move to the location first and then making your pet passive and not able to move. The graphics were increased in original Cataclysm, but in Cataclysm Classic it has been increased even further, so it's no longer as pixelated and everything is just looking a lot better. Definitely something to look forward to if you would like your game to look a lot better. In the pre-patch, they introduced the Reforging system, so if there was a specific stat you would like to reduce and replace with something else, then you could do it right here at the Reforger. This is definitely amazing, especially if you prefer to, for example, use crit, mastery or something else. So in this case, I reduce my haste with 27 and instead I get 27 mastery. Mastery is a new stat that will be introduced in the pre-patch and also in Cataclysm. Definitely a nice change, as you can now customize your character even more and you won't see people with the same gear or well the same stats all the time. Another new feature is the void storage. If you have too many items in your inventory and you would like to have even more bag space or well clean up your bags, then you can deposit these items in the void storage. It costs a bit of gold, but it allows you to obtain or well carry more items on your character. For those of you wondering, it's a character specific thing. I cannot store these, log on to another character and then drag them into my other character's bag. No, they're bound to one specific character, the one that obtained them. In the different main cities, you can now purchase these brand new tabards, equip them and head into dungeons, and every time you slay something, you gain reputation with the faction specific tabard you have equipped. Upon reaching level 10, you still unlock your first talent point, but the talent tree has been changed in Cataclysm. Now you have to choose a specialization, so for example Arcane, Fire or Frost specialization, and when you choose the specialization, then you're automatically also rewarded with some spells. So in this case I decide to choose the Frost specialization, and when I spend the first point, I automatically also gain a Frost Elemental pet. So if I went with Fire, I would get Pyroblast, Arcane, then I would get Arcane Barrage. But unlike the other expansions, then you can't just spend points into the different talent trees. No, you have to pretty much finish your talent tree before you can move on to the other one. And you won't get a new talent point every time you level up. In this case, my hunter is level 33, and the next time I unlock a new talent point is at level 35. Transmogs will now be account-wide, so you only need to obtain one of each individual item before you can also transmog this on other characters. In original Cataclysm, you had to obtain the item on your specific character, so this is a big change. Some stats will either be changed or removed from the game. For example, spell power will only appear on your weapons, so on your armor pieces you can no longer get any spell power. Instead, this will mainly be intellect. And the reason for this is because intellect will also be changed. It will grant you mana, but also chance to crit and even spell power. So this is a change and the main stat you should aim for as a spellcaster. Two other stats will be removed, armor penetration and attack power. So you should try to aim for something else like agility, crit, mastery, hit, or maybe haste. Haste is gonna change in Cataclysm, so not only increase your attack speed, no, it will also increase your energy regeneration. So what is the new stat mastery and what does it do? What it does all depends on the specialization you have chosen. Depending on your talent tree, it will increase the damage, maybe increase the duration of certain buffs and other things. But overall, it's an amazing stat and something you can even try out in the pre-patch with Reforging. As I'm about to end this video, I would also like to say thanks to everyone who's either watching my videos or simply being a subscriber to the channel. It helps me a lot and it motivates me to continue making even more videos. Therefore, you can also expect a lot more Cataclysm videos in the future. As always, thank you for watching and have an amazing day. Peace!